Hey, what's up, everybody? XJordy1X, the conclusion of my parents' oil spill. Slash boiler finally installed. So without further ado, let's start over here. Plumber comes in, runs a new gas line. It's fucking bombs. Plumber comes in, runs a new gas line. Up and over, brings it to the bay, to the beam. This way you could box it in. Before it was right about here. Brings it in, nice and nice, nice and nice, losing my mind. Comes out with a T. I told him to redo the stove. Excuse me. Okay, so he comes over here down the bay for the stove, obviously on off, and then up there there's an on off. Comes back, goes back along the I-beam. Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking break my ankle here. Goes into this bay. I said, can you please redo the dryer? Comes down into this bay. If you remember watching my old videos of the spill, the dryer came out of the stove and then came down and then kind of laid on the floor here. Fuck it. Plumber was already in here and it really didn't change the price. Came down, secured it right there, shut off, and connection. Okay, so back to here. Came back down. Came down to the hot water heater. Came on down, shut off, connection. Hot water heater was raised and then crooked because if you watch my last videos, Milrow, the cleaning crew for the oil spill, didn't have insurance for this, so they had the trowel underneath this. Should be in my concrete video, and that's why this is disaster. It's concrete all over it. I told my parents to have someone come in here, but if it's working, sir, it doesn't aesthetically have to look pretty. So obviously they leveled it the best way they can because this is obviously, you know, there's a big divot right here where it was sitting. And then they plumbed it all in brand new. They put an expansion tank in there. Mine is bigger. I don't know what the plumbing code is, whether this is code or mine's code or none of it's code. And that's it. So you come out of the cold water, comes out of the hot water here, is teed off, and it goes down to the boiler, goes off to the shut-off switch. Comes into this kind of thing. This says fast fill. I guess you could fill the system more. Whatever. Comes down. Goes into the system. Goes into the boiler. Now this is a taco or a taco, whatever you want to call it, called air scoop. There's an arrow flowing this way. There it is. And then it comes in. This is a just different kind of low water cutoff. If I can assume. I have the same one, but just a different mechanism. Different plumbers use different things. And then what's good about this, if you haven't noticed, this is all spray painted black. I don't have this system. I have a fucking pipe to an elbow. I have a lot of weak points and threads. And if you ever wanted to add something on mine, you'd have to take off the last circulator and re-pipe it in from this point. Right here is you rip it off and you could come off of it. You could wrap around. So just let you enjoy that. 3 zones. You know, JK18 is probably gonna bust my balls because let me level the camera. Because I want to tell you, Jay, that all the connections are level. All these connections are level. You want to pause. And as far as the different ball valve, that's for different pipe size. At least in this house. So here's your different pipe size. Was it 5/8 or 3/4? And then there's your big. Your big pipe. Obviously this is the main zone. Monoflow system comes up, goes in the back, and they kind of just left it. It goes through the I-beam. That's the way it was built. I personally thought that you could just maybe bring it up in the bay over here, and you could have probably brought it above the I-beam, and then you could have brought it down, but this is not my house, guys, and I physically wasn't here during the install. So this is what I got. What I can tell you is that my expansion tank sits right here. Theirs sits there, and there's no reason why, because my pipe comes out of here this way. There's no reason why my pipe can't be twisted, tightened, and the expansion tank put over there. And there's a shut-off valve on my parents. I don't have one. And then you got all these air things. What I don't have is what they have. Is their system is theoretically bleedable one at a time. So each zone that comes back, the return comes back to a drain valve, and comes back to a shut-off valve, and then goes into another spray painted piece, which is probably this piece, just, you know, vertical with your cap and in your air thing. I guess that's new because they didn't do that back in the day. And then there's your drain valve, technically for the entire boiler. But if you had to, for argument's sake, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I had to bleed the system, then I would shut off, you know, I would shut this off, I would shut this off, keep this on. I would shut off whichever two are in coincide with these two. I would put my hose up here, and I would turn this on, and I would shut that off. No, excuse me. Yep. And then I would, right, I would shut this off, and that would stop it from going in the boiler. So, theoretically, it would go through the whole house, come back. Let's just say that we were doing the monoflow. It would go through the whole house, come back, would stop here, not go through the boiler anymore, and then come out of here, essentially freeing up all the air in the system. And then when you were done, obviously you would open up the valve, and then that's the return back into the boiler. Cut and dry, you know. Obviously they did a better job. They did cement. Mine is like some kind of rubber shit crap. This is nice and perfect, straight in. I have a T also, but my T is a little bit set back. Different strokes for different folks. You could watch my boiler video and reminisce. This is obviously, you know, that cutoff switch. I don't, you know, and their oh, excuse me, their electronics are on this side. Same thing. Oh, they use an Argo. I have a Taco and Taco, and their stuff's in here. Well, that's conveniently loose. So here's all. Oh, look at that, nice and ground, put away, tucked in there. I don't think I could have done better myself. Chooching the 120 volts, and then goes through, I guess, the relays, chooching to low voltage. We'll put that on with two hands before I leave. I'll just. And this is the outcome of the gas, of the oil. Everything is in the basement now from the bin. Just garbage. Not garbage, but just endless amounts of just stuff. This stuff, believe it or not, if you can't imagine, this stuff was actually organized at one point. It's just that there's so much personal stuff going on right now in this house, and everything else in the basement is just, as long as it's down here safe, who cares? Obviously, these are old and brittle. They're garbage. They obviously go with those lamps. You could purchase a new lampshade. It's not anyone's fault. It's just, this is what happens. I don't live here no more. You know, my parents are older. They don't have time. Washing machine, dryer, just kind of sitting here working. They forgot to remove the expansion tank, but that's just them coming back and removing it. I actually was thinking about removing it myself and trying to salvage it, but... So, without further ado, and this video being longer than what it should be, I'll let you guys take a nice little pause if you want. This is basically the conclusion to the February 2014 oil spill. This oil burner was probably installed, actually, I'm not going to lie to you, it was installed about 2 months ago. I'm just here now taking video of it. This is it. The conclusion to the oil spill. Thanks for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe. And please, if you're just starting to watch my channel now, feel free to go back. I love this. This is awesome. Feel free to go back. There are 11 parts to the oil spill. This is actually part 12, but we're going to name it Oil Spill Conclusion. Thanks for watching.